Baba TV, every time fire, everybody. Baba TV is right there in the house. And we also have Clemson Brown, Tap Video, Transatlantic Productions in the house, and of course Boston's own C4. Boom! All right, and don't forget everybody, we are here to celebrate Ubin Suptit, Suptit Cyrus Rising, Upawat, Samai Tawi, Wet Wen Pet Dejitheb New Year's celebration. We are here to celebrate when the star Suptit rises with Ra on the eastern horizon on the Nilotic Meridian. This indicates that our Earth has made one complete revolution around the sun, scientifically and mathematically. Okay, so we're going to get all into this, but I wanted right now to take this time out to introduce another one of the people, the man who made this all happen, from the Imperial Kingdom of Nubia. Nubian Geographics and Nuba Market. Nuba Market are these tents here. He's part of the black economic development for these entrepreneurships that's going on here, these businesses. Support our black businesses. We got Nadja Ra with the holistic food over here. When you get hungry, you gotta come over here and see Nadja. You gotta get the holistic food in you. We're gonna start this over again. I started with the Hesse, with the Saku, with the affirmation. I got Grandmaster Jimmy Grizz over here. He's been waiting. He's supposed to win on first. I was doing 3 interviews inside the museum. I bumped heads with Barry Gaither in there. There's just so much going on. We're going to get the Grandmaster Jimmy Grizz up here in 1 second. Master Jimmy Grizz, we apologize. We know you have a time schedule here. But I would first of all like to bring to the stage right now Siba Ali Muhammad. Oh, there he is. Ali Muhammad. Oh, all right. Oh yeah, Ali Muhammad from the Imperial Kingdom of Nubia, who made all this happen. Him and his queen mother, his Hemet, Nene, put together these tents. Our great Siba, Ali Muhammad from the Imperial Kingdom of Nubia. Dua Siba.
You gonna put it on Facebook? I'll let you do it. I don't know how to do this.
You know how to do it?
I'll send it to you. You can do it.
Excuse me, I was trying to have some fun on that. Thank you everybody for coming. We really appreciate your support. For those that have traveled long distances, we appreciate your support and really thank you. Can you hear me? Louder? Okay. I'm soft-spoken. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I would like to thank our host, Dr. Gaither, Barry Gaither, and our community for allowing us to come out in support of the perpetuation of our culture and our history. As everybody knows, if some that don't know, Nubian Geographic is an organization that is designed to preserve, conserve, and restore our story. We've lived for so long in his story that it's time for us to now step up to reflect who we are the way we should tell it. And it's not to slight anybody, it's not to upset anybody or offend anybody, but it's time to now own up to who we are and what was long awaited. So the Nubian Geographic is actually called Virtual Museum because we've established ourselves in several states and different countries where we're supporting museums in different states and different countries that need our communities to come out and show some love, solidarity, and unity. So this is a beginning process of something that is long-standing, or is going to be long-standing within our communities, where we're looking to help support creating legacies in our community. Legacies are important to us because we're telling history or our story that have happened before us, but if no one had taken the time to document or write this stuff, how would we know who we are? How would we know where we've come from? So it's very important that we take the time to recognize who we are and what it takes to conserve and preserve our history as a legacy. Myself, I do come from a Nubian background, a Nubian past. My family is Sudanese, which is one of the many branches of Nubians, when you really do the research. But Nubia was its own capital, and I feel like Nubian Square and Boston is really becoming a new Nubia. Okay, some of the folks might not remember the Nubian Nation in New York. You might remember Queen Latifah, Jay-Z, all of these rappers that that were all a part of the Nubian nation. And you know, what's happening now is a rebirth, where my brother's wearing the medallion, the leather medallion of independence. We used to wear that with pride. We didn't wear gold chains. We wore Africa on our chest. We wore our cultures, our history on our chest. And it's about time to bring that back so we can stop our children killing each other for resources that they're born to inherit.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill anybody for gold when you're from the land of gold. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Say that.
You're killing somebody for gold when you're from the land, and your blood is worth more than the gold that you're robbing somebody for. So this is where we have to pump the brakes on some of this behavior that really is not who we are. We're not murderers and killers. We are defenders of our truth. We are defenders of our land. We're farmers. We're architects. We're builders. How do you think this came about? Nubians, we build. We build and then we sustain. And that's something that we all have to remember. And I want to give a shout out to two other Nubians from Honduras, the Garifuna tribe. Two of the brothers that are here that have supported us since January. I got my brother Carlos Martinez right there, and my brother Just. These brothers right here helped clear the land, the trees, when it was cold, when we had the beginning plan. And we called on, and they came. And that's all we're asking. We put out the call for your community, to support your community. Just come. You can go do 40 hours for somebody.
Right.
Right, but when somebody say, hey man, why don't you come and rake the lawn over here? I mean, you know, I ain't got no time for that. I gotta buy some sneakers so I can go sneak up on somebody. Right? You went from walking around with camel skin on your feet to plastic leather. So how valuable really are you? The value in you is what's in this building right here. And we should have thousands of people here to support this. And something that I do want to say to everyone here is, if you can make a contribution, a $5 contribution to the museum, please help to support the museum, because they're the reason why we're on this piece of land, this patch of land that's becoming so significant to everyone, that's being documented around the world. This is a global initiative. We have to realize, as Rome falls, Nubia rises. Let's say that again. As Rome falls, Nubia rises. Let's look at Asphalta in there, Nubia's rising. Let's look at the eternal presence, Nubia's rising. And as Nubia rises, we all rise, and we all rise collectively. We rise collectively to recognize our strengths, our weaknesses, and our objective to come together as a Nubian community. Thank you for that. So I'm not a very long-winded talking person. As you can see about me, I'm a doer. And I would like to thank the Juneteenth committee. This is something that's been in my mind. I want to thank the Juneteenth committee for existing. See, we gotta start thanking people just because they exist. Let's stop and think about that for a second. As our society changes around and now they start to recognize our plight, a lot of our family members have fallen trying to preserve who we are to get to this point. So we have to come to recognize people that exist to this day just because they exist. I have individuals that are enjoying CBD, right, and medical marijuana. But let's talk about opening up the prisons and releasing our sisters and brothers that were wrongfully incarcerated. Okay, before we open up the plantation, let's free some people about the plantation before it becomes a hotel or a country club. So there's a lot of work that we have to do, and we have to also create safe spaces in our community. Safe spaces are places that you can sit down with your, that's my child. Right. Every event that I have my family present. That's the example. You move with your family, because that might be the last time you see your family again in this trying time. To the best of your ability, if you have the ability. And if you do have issues with your family, break bread. If you have an abundance, build a larger table. Invite more people to sup and eat with you. Don't say, I have enough, I'm going to stockpile, and I'm going to die in a hole with a bunch of guns by myself. That seems like that makes a lot of sense for some people. But the reality is we have to share what we have, but we have to be conscious about what we're doing, children, and we have to reflect what we want our children to see. Every one of us is an example. Every time you walk out of your home, your child is watching you. Someone else's child that might not have a parent is watching. You could be that example that changes the course of somebody's life forever. So how do you walk out of your home? There was a joke that we made yesterday. When we used to walk out of our home, there was a mirror at the door. so you can look at yourself before you walk out the door. I don't think some people have mirrors when they walk out their door. So we have to encourage our community to look at self, acknowledge yourself. See what you did. Your mother and father look like that? Would they carry themselves in that capacity? No. And you are the one that's representing them today. You are the one that's representing your ancestors today. Matter of fact, I got a brother right here that look like Mansa Musa. Does anybody recognize that? He's standing right there with the Malian garb on. You got Mansa Musa present. Let's go ahead and look at Mansa. Hey, Mansa Musa.
Sierra Leone.
Musa, what's going on, brother? How you doing over there? See, so anybody need a loan? Go talk to Mansa Musa. All right? We already know Mansa Musa. Bill Gates ain't got nothing. Bezos ain't got nothing on Mansa Musa, and he's still here with us. Okay, supporting us. So recognize the greatness in each and every one of us. That's the point of what I'm saying. Recognize the greatness, because all it takes is a spark. If one starts, everybody else is gonna collectively start and work together. And that's what we have to get back to. Come to unity. Don't just say I belong to a community and walk by us.
That's right.
Come to the community. What can I do? How can I be involved? Even if you're just a part of the backdrop. Come to unity. And that's what the Nubian Geographic represents. The Nuba market represents. Black market represents. Nubian Square market represents. Eternal Presence represents. Come to unity. We're here for you. I work in mental health. So if somebody might want to have a conversation, let's sit down under a tree and talk. I'm not going to give you any pills. Well, I might make you smell some grass. Because the reality is some of us are having these breakdowns because we're not connected to nature.
That's right.
We're not connected. Take your shoes off. Some people, you might not want to smell their feet, but still, take your shoes off and just feel the grass, feel nature, feel the energy underneath you, and then take that home and share that with somebody else. Go for walks. Enjoy your community. One of the conversations that we were having online were about some of the youth, and I'm gonna close with this one. I don't blame children for what they do. I blame bad parenting. Okay, so we have strings of killings and a bad behavior that is not reflective of who we are. But remember something, that child is a product of somebody else who either abandoned that child or chooses to ignore that child's behavior. But if we start walking and she say, hey, that's your kid right there, go ahead, come here, put that away. There was a mother that, as a matter of fact, there was a woman that somebody stole her car. If y'all saw it on YouTube, she found him in a hair salon, dragged him out the hair salon, beat him up, and she got her car back. This sister wasn't afraid. She wasn't afraid of anything. But it takes that type of behavior in us to realize that's just a child. They're just children. Nobody's embracing them and say, come here, let's go do some archery, Nubian archery. Let's go do something that's constructive with your time. If you want to shoot something, we got arrows. Right? Because one day bullets are going to run out. And they go like, who's that brother that had Nubian archery? Where's that program at? I need some of that Massachusetts turkey running around here. So on that note, I want to give thanks to Baba TV. I want to give a shout out to everyone that came. I want to give a shout out to CV World. This is my brother back there who always supported me from day one. He's right there, the Cape Verdean Sheikh, as we say in Arabic. And this brother has the transportation company. Anybody needs to transport to get back to the airport, I'm not responsible for his prices. I'm not responsible for his prices, but he's there with the limousine. And we're doing our best to create transportation, to create restaurants. The Sister Nadra has a restaurant. We have clothing. We have healers here. Sit down and introduce yourself to them and just take 5 minutes of your time to talk to them. We have a brother that traveled all the way from Atlanta to come here to stand on the ground with us. We walk by this every day. But they travel all across this country through muck and mire to come here just to sit around us because they heard of last year. They heard of how beautiful we were and how well we presented ourselves. So now people are flocking. How are we going to represent ourselves to the world now that the world is watching? We got the Islamic Society of Boston. We have Muslims here. We have Rastafarians here. We have Sufis here. We have martial artists here. We have historians. We have everybody here because we are everybody. Peace and love to everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for continued support.